This is Jim. Jim is an inventor and has come up with a new invention that is a bit of a secret right now. He wants to obtain a patent to protect his idea from others, but what type of patent should Jim apply for? In Australia, there are two types of patents that can be granted: standard patents and innovation patents. In general terms, standard patents are for new inventions, while innovation patents are for improvements to existing inventions. The requirements for the two types of patents listed under Section 18 of the Patents Act 1990 are almost identical. The big difference is a standard patent must involve an inventive step, while an innovation patent must involve an innovative step. What is an inventive step? Well, an invention will take an inventive step under Section 7.2 of the Patents Act 1990 unless the invention would have been obvious to a person skilled in the relevant art based on the common general knowledge at the time the patent was applied for. For this test, obvious is taken to mean very plain. If the invention was something obvious to try with an expected outcome, it is unlikely to be inventive. It is important to note that only a small amount of inventiveness is required for a step to be inventive, and just because a step was simple does not mean it was obvious. The skilled person in this test is taken to mean a hypothetical, non-inventive person who possesses ordinary skill in the field of the invention. This skilled person can also be a hypothetical team of non-inventive persons with ordinary skill in the field. The invention itself is assessed by a real skilled person in the relevant area to determine whether the invention would have been obvious to a hypothetical, non-inventive person. The final component, common general knowledge, is the knowledge that every person in the invention's field would be expected to know about, the kind of knowledge that the skilled person would naturally think of when talking about the field. Information that is not generally recognized and known by people in the field will not be common general knowledge, and therefore can't be used to argue against the inventive step existing. Next up is the innovative step required for an innovation patent. An invention will take an innovative step unless the invention only varies from the base invention in ways that make no substantial contribution to how the invention works. This is also judged by a person skilled in the relevant art based on the common general knowledge available at the time the patent was applied for. The process for determining whether a substantial contribution has been made involves a comparison between the current invention and past inventions. This is to determine the variations that exist between the two. Any identified variations are then assessed to determine whether they make a substantial contribution to the invention. Similar to the inventive step test, a real skilled person evaluates the invention. This skilled person is regarded to have the same kind of common general knowledge defined in the inventive step test. As such, each innovation patent is decided on a case-by-case basis. So that covers the main difference between a standard patent and an innovation patent, but a few more differences exist. One difference is a standard patent lasts for a period of 20 years, while an innovation patent only lasts for 8 years. Additionally, an innovation patent is much faster and much cheaper to obtain than a standard patent, as it is not examined by IP Australia. The consequence of this is that innovation patents do not grant legal rights unless they are examined, which must be requested by the patentee and involves a fee. It is important to evaluate these factors, as an invention that qualifies for a standard patent will generally also qualify for an innovation patent. So Jim, a standard patent requires an inventive step that was not obvious, while an innovation patent requires an innovative step that makes a substantial contribution to the invention's working. It looks like your invention is best suited by a standard patent. Good luck, Jim.
Created using Powtoon.